Okay, let's start out. It is September 20th. Let's start out with some housekeeping for newbies. Number one, our eyes see in black and white at night. So if you see a glowing grayish white thing to the north that appears to have some movement to it, you are seeing the auroras. Those of you that have gone looking and think you have not seen them, more than likely you've seen them your whole life and just not realized it. We cannot see color with our eyes until the auroras get to a very high level. Probably for most people, they have to be a KP6 to a KP7. You absolutely have to have a camera or a cell phone on a tripod. Now, if you're using a cell phone, Walmart, Target, camera stores, Best Buy, Sam's Club, Costco's, all of them should have some sort of simple $20 cell phone tripod that you can buy. And I would advise you to go out and start shopping now because there's going to be a run on them. Everybody's going to be hunting for them this week, so go get them now. Okay, we're looking at a view of our sun. And we have had lots of snaps, crackles, pops, and activity going on. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to take this down to the very end here and kind of look up. I'd quit moving and be where I want it to be. Okay, I'm going to pause this. Pause this. Okay, we have our coronal holes here. This should be reaching us starting maybe Thursday night, Friday into Friday night. It takes typically 36 hours from when this is center facing for this coronal hole stream to hit us. This will give us a nice elevated KP3, KP4, and these will maintain themselves and be dependable for more than one cycle around the sun, which is 27 days. So this time next month, you can look for this corona hole, except you want to back it up 3 days. So you want to look for that corona hole on the 17th next month. And you'll know that you should have some sort of solar activity on the 17th next month. And this is how we know and how you can know when to take vacation time. Is they do this 27-day forecast based on corona holes. And they will give you enough of an elevation that you know you will get something. And then if there's sunspots around those corona holes that are giving us solar flaring or CMEs, then it will just elevate the KP number that's predicted. So let's get to the bottom of what's going on. We have 3436 that is over here. It is popping off solar flares and some CMEs. Here is this big complex filament, these magnetic field lines that are still, at this point, depending on the direction in which they flare and send the plasma, capable of giving us some activity. If they pop off straight out and not sideways. We have big looping filament magnetic field lines here. We have a rope going in and around the big sunspots that are giving us 3435 and 3438. These have gone beta gamma, okay? And these are monsters. This area, historically for the last year, where they're sitting should be their quiet time. They should be quieting down, not growing. They should be quieting down until they get right here, and then they should go crazy once they get out of that center disc. They're not doing that. They're getting bigger right now. They should be earth facing in the next day, day and a half. God help us when they get out of earth facing and they tick into that outgoing limb a little bit, because that's typically when they really start producing the CMEs and the solar flares. And if they're sitting at a gated beta gamma and growing, when they do that, remember I said, don't get excited, this isn't the big one yet. I was right. This is capable of being that, turning into that big one right now. It is enough earth spacing that it can hit us. It looks snarly. It's growing right now. It's close enough right now it can slap us. It's even closer than that right now. And it's produced an M8, downgraded to an M7 something now, but it's produced an M-class flare of significant size with a good CME. They've downgraded the CME. They're now saying it's not a halo. I'm saying no, we're going to get something off this one. I think they're wrong. I looked at it myself, and here's what I see. If you watch that sunspot, okay, here's the start of the flare. Now, this is erupting. It is sending something out there. It is coming in this direction. It is coming straight out in this direction right here. That is Earth facing. That is in a direction that will clip Earth. Whatever comes out of this is going to hit Earth. Going into that, you can see it did eject something there. And here comes a big flare. And this one, I kind of think it's going to come out like this. They're saying it went this way. I'm saying I'm seeing it come, it looks like it's coming this way. Right here looks like it's moving this way. They're saying it's coming out, they have something coming out this way, but I'm seeing this one looking like it's coming this way. It's moving that way. The plasma looks like it's moving downwards, not outwards that way. I mean, there's a little tap out to the side. There's a flare. There, I think right there's your flare. Your big M-class flare right there, that bright spot. There's your M-class flare. And then it kicks out the CME. There's your flare. There goes your CME. And right there's your reconnection. Okay? So that is the process of which a big flare happens. You've got your flare, followed by your CME, followed by a magnetic reconnection and the reformation of your filament loop, or your magnetic field line. So, and right here is pretty much where we're at. We should be getting hit with that coronal hole stream, and it should be giving us coronal hole stream for the next 3 or 4 days. And we've got plenty of activity here to look at. Today we've had the M-class, the big M-class flare. They're calling it, well, now it's back up. Now it's back up to an M-class 823. They cannot make up their minds because I just looked at that. Well, okay. Apparently there's 2 of them. There was an, okay, this is a double tap. They have an M8 and an M23. Let's go in and look at that better. Why are they saying it's an M? All right, they're saying there's 3 of them there. See if I can separate that out more. All right, that is a long duration M8 flare. So that will produce an aurora all in itself. Enough activity there for an aurora all in itself, because it is an M-class flare. So they're saying it started out as an M8, went down to an M7 something, and then went to a 5 something M-class flare. So they've got 3 different M-class sizes there. You can see it go down. So they're saying that it is a significant M-class flare. So let's go to CMEs. They are saying now that, and I'm not going to trust this. Okay, so we're going to back up and go through every CME. I'm going to back up to about midday on the 19th. Okay, looking at midday and on the 19th, we have a solar flare going this way, but we have solar flares this way. We've got enough activity here and something coming out this way. So technically, this is a full halo CME. There is matter moving all the way around the center disk. Oh, let me go back here. We're going to go through this one. Now, this is coming from that same sunspot region, 34, 35, 34, 38, that we just looked at. There is that. They're saying it's moving down and away, but it's moving down and away from over here. Okay, where that little hand is. So it's moving down and away. That will likely miss Earth. It probably will not hit Earth directly, but again, you still have matter moving all the way around the halo disk, so it's not going to be nothing. Halo hit here, or CME here, you've got something kicking out over here. And again, you still have matter moving all the way around the disk. There's still something going. Here is another major CME. This one is going to be, they say it's not a halo hit. I'm going to say this one's going to be close to a halo hit. There is enough plasma moving all the way around the disk right there that it's going to give us a significant bump. And that happened on the 19th at 2100 hours. So that would be, okay, let me think. 2100 hours is 9 o'clock. So you're going to subtract 4 hours from that. So that would make it 5 o'clock on the 19th. That can hit us in about 24 hours. So that may come in earlier than the 22nd. It can also take 36 hours if it's a slow one. So it could come in on the 22nd. So it could come anywhere from the 21st to the 22nd, depending on the speed. And it is a 612 kilometer sunspot. So that could come in early, anywhere from 5 o'clock on the 21st into the 22nd. Anywhere in that window. We have a secondary hit behind it, going up and away. Okay, this one I'm not sure what sunspot kicked it out, but it's going up and away. Again, you have dense matter moving all the way around the disk. This is at 2300 hours, 2 hours later. On the 19th, it can move, and this is moving at 700 kilometers, over 700 kilometers, a little bit faster. So this one is going to catch up to the first one. They're going to hit at the same time, and they're going to pick it up and boost. It's going to be stronger because the second one is going to catch up with the first one, and it's going to intermingle the plasma, and it's going to be stronger than they think it will, if any of it's moving toward Earth. Okay? So what's moving toward Earth, if it catches it and it moves it faster toward Earth, catches the first one and moves it faster toward Earth, it's going to scoop shovel it, and it's going to pick it up and make it stronger. Okay, now we're going to have a die down. This one is at 900, or this is at about 2 o'clock on the 20th, which would make it about 10 o'clock on the 19th. So we're going to have a little bit of die down. That material is still moving at us rapidly and strong, but the material is out toward Earth more, but we're going to have a quiet period behind it. 7 a.m. would have been 3 a.m. on the 20th. We got a very, very strong halo hit. Or, well, they're not saying halo, but it's coming out of 35, 34, which at this point should have been over here more center disk. They're saying it shot it sideways and it's coming out over here. We still have material coming out here. We've got material coming out here. If it came this way, and this is where this is kind of hard to read because we're taking a 3D model and making it flat. It may have shot it this way, which means it'll be a total miss. But if it came out in a motion toward us, and I'm kind of having to pull it down so you get the idea, but if it was moving toward us in this direction and shotting it out, not down but straight at us in this direction, so that this is wide and it's spreading out wide and coming toward us. So if it was a ball and it was a wide halo CME like this, and that is moving towards us, we're going to get clipped by it. But we still have decent stuff coming all the way around the disc. It's not strong, but it's there. Yeah, see, you've got it's kicking up. This is a wide storm. And I would say it's reaching out clear over to here. It's going to be enough that it may clip Earth. It's a wide eruption. It's kicking out all the way to halfway around the disk. It's getting plasma that far out. So I think, yeah, it was shooting it this way, more towards us than sideways. And we're going to get it. We've got another little something here. We got another kick out there. It's going to be moving towards us a little bit. But there's going to be a strong hit off that. Here's a blast out of 34, 36. This one probably will be a miss, but there's a lot of material moving all the way around the disc, so I think we're going to get a full halo there. Here's another little disruption. It's kind of kicking in there. Another one from 34, 36, pushing the second one. They came bang, bang right together. More of a miss than a hit. Another slight hit this way. And another hit this way. But here you can see we've got steady, steady wind all the way around the disc. And it maintains this nice, steady wind. That means there is plasma moving in that wind and particles moving, and it's going to continue to come to Earth. Okay, so let's look at our sunspots. Here is 34, 36 that's been kicking off all that stuff that's moving this way. It is still angled this way, so I think there is a little bit of an Earth movement sideways, or, you know, it may hit and curl backwards a little bit and give us a clip. This is 34, 38, and 34, 35. This should be in the quiet zone, and it's not. This should be quieting down, and it's not. This is Earth facing. It's going to be here in the next day and a half. When it clicks over here, God help us. If it's still as big as it is, God help us. Because it could drop a big one. We have 34, 39, 34, 32, and 34, 40 that are now Earth facing, and we have stuff around the back limb that we can't see yet. 35, 34, 34, 36, and 34, 38 are all beta gamma. Now, for those of you who do not understand what beta gamma is, Beta is a sunspot group that has positive and negative polarity within one umbra. So you have in the sunspot, you have both positive and negative moving in opposite directions to where they can bump each other. Gamma is a complex region which positive and negative polarities are so irregularly distributed that they can't be classified as a bipolar sunspot group. Okay? Beta gamma is a sunspot group that is complex enough so that no line can be drawn between the spots of opposite polarity. Okay, so let's go back and look at the sunspots, okay? So that it makes sense to you. There's 3429. Here is 3433. And it really isn't much. It's down to a very basic sunspot. It is not anything to write home about. Now here is our 3435. That's this spot right here. And when I say it's, oh, they've changed it to beta delta. Ooh. Beta delta, sunspot group that is generally beta magnetic configuration but contains one or more delta spots. And delta spots an umbra of opposite polarities in a single penumbra. Oh boy. That just changed in the last hour from a gamma to a delta. We are going places, people. We are getting stronger on that one. But the irregularity is still there. So we have opposite polarities in one penumbra. So we have umbras and we have penumbras. And we have opposite polarities going up and down. That means we have them looping magnetic fields in one penumbra within one umbra. When we have, I don't know how, think of a wiring in a house, how it goes through the house and it has to make a circuit. So we have the positive and the negative going down in a wire, and around the wire we have the the plasma looping around the magnetic field line, which is the wire going back into the connecting penumbra. And when those fields bump each other, or when that wire crosses, and I'm trying to think, it can break. So when the positive and the negative cross, whatever's above where it crosses can break away and hurl into space, and then the ends will snap back together and connect again in what's called a magnetic reconnection. And that makes the explosion that propels the other plasma out into space and moves it faster. So this is rapidly changing formations. It's getting much, much gnarlier and more capable of producing something big. Okay, this is 3436. It too, right here, you cannot get a piece of paper between that positive and that negative. The blue and the yellow are your polarities. You can't get a piece of paper between them. That means those are bumping each other. They're beta gamma, they're bumping each other. And that's what's causing those CMEs to pop off. Okay, we have 3437. It is holding steady. It is a beta class storm. You can see here we've got pretty close wrapping on the lead spot here, the lead umbra. We've got some tight wrapping going on here, a little bit of wrapping here, but nothing serious. Here is 3438. This is the This is 3438 over here. It is beta gamma, or beta gamma. So this one's beta delta, this one's beta gamma. You can see here how intermixed the polarity is. You've got polarity wrapped around each other. You've got positive and negative that are wrapping around each other in here. That is what is causing this to be more eruptive. Here is 3439. It is actually shrinking down and is an alpha class storm at this time because 3538 and 35 or 3435 are hogging all the energy. Now, 3440 is shrinking at this time, but, and I am going to say this has changed over the last 24 hours and developed more more complexity to the magneticism here, the polarities. So it may be shrinking right now because this is pulling the energy, but I think this has the potential of growing down the road. And looking behind, I'm not seeing anything yet, but it may have something, down the road here. And here's 3431. Again, this one is a beta class, and you can see we've got wrapping in here. The polarities are wrapped. This one too can wrap around something and produce something. And now we have a look at 3432. It too is a beta class, and this one could turn into a monster. You've got very tight wrapping in here. You have positive and negative wrapped all around each other. This is very irregularly shaped. If this starts to develop, this can turn into a monster as well. So we have some big sunspots coming at us in the next few days. And I kind of think that this is going to be a 7-day run, because we have this just coming in, we have this coming in, we have this coming in. This will be outgoing. We have coronal holes right here that are giving us wind that we will have for a couple days, and then we've got these right on top of it. I really do think we're going to have a long run. At least 3 or 4 days, if not 7. Now, looking at, and I want to go back here. I want to look at, I want to go back here and look at what NASA and NOAA are saying in opposition. Okay, I'm looking first at NASA, and I want to explain. NASA just gets something out quick. They use what basic information is there, and they throw something out quick. And they're looking like they're saying, oh, this is going to be a real close miss. They're saying we're getting some good plasma, and you can see we're getting some good solid greens. But they're saying we're going to get just the very tail swipe of that CME that went out just a little bit, and it's probably going to reform the biggest after us. It's going to be very close whether it hits us or not. Now, let's put this one in motion. We're going to start to see that the first of one of the tails of an eruption from 3436. Here's an eruption from 3436, and you can see we're going to get a swipe from the tail end of it. And that is going to start the 21st into the 22nd, and that should be the KP4 that we're expecting on the night of the Thursday night into the morning of the 22nd. Okay? Here is what they're expecting to hit us on the evening of the 22nd into the morning of the 23rd. So we're going to get a little hit Thursday night, Big hit Friday night to make sense for you. So Thursday night into Friday morning, a little tickle. Friday night into Saturday morning, we're going to get our big hit for newbies. And remember, when they say UTC time, so if they're saying it's UTC 2100 hours, that's 5 o'clock Eastern time. You take 4 hours away from whatever UTC is until we hit daylight savings, and then it's 5 hours. Unless you're in Wisconsin, and then it's just a straight 5 hours because they don't do daylight savings. So we're about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Here we are. At about 9 o'clock at dark, we should be hitting a reasonable KP that when it turns right at dark or dusk, you should be able to see something. It is going to peak in the overnight hours. Quite possibly, quite very likely, you're going to get KP 4 or 5, depending on what comes with it, or higher. They're saying 9 UTC time is going to be the peak, so you take 4 hours away from that, it's going to be 5 a.m. And this will dissipate into throughout the day. And then on the 24th, we have the wind kicking in. So we had the plasma hit the 23rd through the 24th. On the 24th through the 25th, we're going to continue to have winds. And that winds can keep us elevated to a KP3, KP4, KP5. And we'll have to see, depending. And this is saying it's going to be hitting close to a KP 500 kilometers per hour. Depending on what else comes in and what speed it's moving, this could get boosted. And you can see over here that it's going to just tip us. If this moves even sideways a little bit and more of that plasma hits us, it's going to tip us higher than they think. And it's going to tip us right in here, right in through the morning of the 25th. If we get any more CMEs, any more activity, that can hit us. But they're saying that it's going to miss the stuff on that incoming limb, the stuff that went to our left. At this time, if they're right. If they're right. I question whether they're completely right, because at least one of those eruptions didn't look like it was shooting sideways. It looked like it was coming straight out more toward us than going sideways. That could change this forecast. This is where it becomes very difficult when you have so many different CMEs coming off the sun, so many things traveling in different directions at different wind speeds. It becomes very hard to predict what's going to hit when and how strong, and what's going to catch up with what and push what. It's literally almost impossible to predict. But I'm telling you, at least one of those pops that produced that CME on the incoming limb that they're not predicting will hit us had a more earth directing pop, and it sent something sideways toward us, not out toward off the limb like they're predicting. At least one of those pops came toward us. So I look for at least something to come toward us. And you can look down here and see that they have this moving this way, like this. If this spreads at all, and they don't even have this out to far enough toward Earth to put it into the forecast. But if this has a wide enough spread, we could get a tail. It will just happen after the 25th. If this is at all moving in a different trajectory than they think, it's going to clip Earth when it spreads out. So, and this spot is not even Earth facing yet, and it's just pumping out steady activity. So what I'm telling you is this thing is going to keep going. Pump, 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 pump. It's growing. It's getting stronger. It's connecting with Earth now. It's getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And this has the potential of dropping a monster. I do not think it will quit. It's going to continue to produce, and it will continue to produce while it's Earth facing into the outgoing limb. This is very likely to be an ongoing event for days. Make sure your batteries are charged. Get lots of sleep. It's going to be a miserable week for Aurora chasers. And we're all going to be crying our buckets by the time this is done. We're going to be happy because we got something good. But we're going to be so tired and so sore and so just begging for mercy for it to stop. We're going to be tired. We're going to be ready for it to be done. Trust me, I've done a 7-day run. By the time you're done chasing auroras, you're ready. Just please stop. But for all you experienced hunters, this is our week. This here's going to be our week. And if there's something coming around the sun that's just as good as this, oh my Lord, we're going to have a very bad month. We're going to need lots of energy drinks and lots of vitamins. Okay. Now, what is not so wonderful, and here's the party pooper. This is Friday, Thursday into Friday. We have rain over Michigan. We have rain over Wisconsin, mid-Wisconsin. That is like midnight on Friday. Or, well, Thursday night into early morning Friday. By mid-Friday, that stuff will be gone. There is a really funny high-pressure cell moving in, and I have talked to NOAA, and they said this is going to be a really difficult thing to predict right now because it's just being really aggravating. It's not wanting to make up its mind. It's being finicky. So they said, check with us on Friday morning, and we're going to be able to tell you more. But right now it looks like if you're in the south, you might have a better chance at clearing than in the north. Right now, that's what they're saying, that you might have less clouds in the south than you will the north. And if this is any decent kind of storm, mid-Michigan and lower could be the place to be, and up in the UP might not. But we won't know that till closer to Friday, and we have a better prediction because this is just being a really, really, really touchy weather pattern. But at this point, everybody may be partly cloudy. We may have clouds, and you may have to hunt around them. So that is the best I can do for you right now. We do have a big system off to our west that Saturday we do have this building in, and that weather pattern begins to sink into us by early morning Saturday, and by Saturday we have, here's where we're going to get skunked Saturday by probably the early morning hours, to mid-morning hours on Saturday. Wisconsin, you're going to get skunked. Minnesota, you're going to get skunked. And northern Michigan, you may get skunked. So when this gets really good, we might get skunked. But that doesn't, and we may be skunked for a few days until this weather pattern passes. So those of you that are really desperate, you might want to try driving to the East Coast now. They may have a better shot. Or you might try driving up into Canada. So there we go. That's the weather forecast now.